Frantically trying to escape the Port of Brath, the champions fend off the attacks from Drow scouts on the shoreline and do all they can to protect Rosita as she pilots the ship. Gil pulls the tarp off a giant ballista he's constructed and attached to the lake turtle, calling over Jelltur to operate it with him. Scratch and Piper clear the deck and protect Rosita as Kreg hurls javelin after javelin at the Drow, drawing their fire. Scratch pulls out his gift from Munara and creates a globe of darkness on the deck to foil the Drow archers, and Kreg overhears them shouting about stolen magic. Leaving Brath behind them, the champions tried to make sense of what happened, discovering that Kreg's belt was a gift from the trickster god Saiban, and Jelltur's rat claw was an artifact of Karath, goddess of thieves. Gilly and Gil express their concern about the absence of the gods, and are curious as to how this motley group has come to be tied so closely to them.
I never had a god before. Huh.
Neither have I, nor did I want one.
Do you like me? Am I doing good? He kind of looks down and just starts talking to the belt. He's waiting. It's an awkward, minute and a half.
It's awkwardly long because you're not getting an answer.
About that ballista,
Ah, yeah. She is a fine piece of equipment, isn't she?
Yeah. Is there a way to make it portable?
Oof. I mean, technically, theoretically it should work. It's just a matter of, well, you see, the counterbalancing, the counterweights, everything like that to keep it from blowing up on you is really what the tricky part was. So trying to recreate that in a smaller package, it would take me some time, a couple months maybe, but I should be able to come up with a prototype in that time.
I am interested in trying out this prototype.
Once he looks around at the ship, have a place to work again.
Yes, that's fair.
Too. But if anybody can do it, you can do it.
Well, I can definitely look into it. I was just happy to get this thing going, but then the little one over there is telling me that Mount Hammer, they're making these things, churning them out. I should talk to Philia. Maybe we can head out that way. I mean, it's kind of a long trek. Either that or we'd have to charter a ship. But, I'll talk with Philia about it.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine there, laddie. Why are you yelling?
Not you, my god.
He's talking to his belt. This is going to be a very long boat ride.
Kreg.
Yeah?
The gods do not communicate with people lightly.
That's rude.
It is not wise to try and bother them for something as mundane as a hello.
But I want to say hello.
If they wish to talk to you, they will.
Gilly's standing there. She's like, the best way to say hello to a god is to pray to them. They may not answer directly, but they will get your message.
Okay.
Alright, so what we're gonna do now? I'm on a ship.
Rosita is still standing at the helm. However, the boys are tending to her wounds, breaking off the arrowheads, pulling them out, giving her a little first aid while they're at it.
I was gonna say, if they weren't gonna do that, I was gonna go offer.
Technically, Kreg hasn't taken the arrows out either, and he has kind of forgotten about them.
Oh, yeah, we should actually do that too. Yours and mine. I actually kind of helped Kreg with his...
Wait, what? Ow! Oh.
So you guys remove your arrows.
Yeah.
Gil goes downstairs to speak with Philia. And Rosita is pretty much going to just keep piloting the ship. She is using her compass. And then the lads that she has are going to be heading downstairs to rest up because, you got a few days of sailing ahead of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, is there any place I can go, chill?
Down below they're nowhere really alone. You're gonna have to, you'll end up in, the bilge as the only place that really doesn't have anybody. And even then, sometimes sailors will come in there
That's fine.
to get something or put something and then leave.
I'm gonna go lay down.
Yeah, there are hammocks. There are a lot of people in the sleeping quarters, but there are hammocks where you can sleep.
Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Alright, so you head downstairs to sleep.
At some point, I will want to talk to Gilly.
So Gilly is standing at the prow of the ship, and the figurehead, you are noticing, you've seen it before, is a very draconic-like figurehead. But
It's the
the
lake
head
turtle.
is more turtle-shaped than draconic. So it's something in between. And now that you've seen a dragon, you're like, that's not what a dragon looks like.
Yeah, dragons were a lot smaller.
But Gilly is scanning the horizon as everyone is sailing.
I'm gonna say Craig's going to try and sneak towards the ballista again, like look it over a little more, just because.
One of the half-orcs just kind of looks at you as you're sneaking over there. You make eye contact with him, and he just shakes his head.
Yeah, it was a 12, so literally it's not a good stop.
So Grunt and Groan will grab the tarp and they cover the ballista back up. They throw it back over.
Okay, well either way, Craig, as soon as they see he sees them do that, he's gonna just be like, alright, and just follows, I guess, wherever the rest of the party went.
Alright, well, some people are going downstairs to sleep. Scratch seems to be approaching Gilly, and I believe Piper is attending to Rosita at the moment.
Yep. I will
Craig-
go and attend
Craig's
to her,
never
but
felt more
Scratch
alive.
first.
He went into battle, he found out a god likes him. He has a theme song now. He's living his best life right now. So I don't. He's kind of like a toddler that's just not ready for bed yet.
So I'm going to go up to Gilly.
Alright.
Gilly, do you have a minute?
Of course. How can I help you?
Those things, those dark elves, you called them.
Yes, Dark Elves, Drow, they have several names.
What more can you tell me about them? You saw what happened. I couldn't touch him.
No, they, the Dark Elves, I suppose your people don't know the history of ours, much like we don't know the history of yours. The Dark Elves were at one point like me, and she gestures to herself. They were Sun Elves at one point. Gold skin, blonde hair, amber eyes, very much like me. They, however... Elves are gifted with magic, and she gestures in her hands and she creates this image of a sword in a sun, blade pointed down. So you see like a sword pointed down and this brilliant image of a sun behind it, just floating between her hands. This is the symbol of Molat, our god of the sun. I believe your people have a god of the sun as well.
Yes, Solian.
Yes. Well, Molat granted our race magic. And we sought it out. We sought it hungrily. While Molat had given us our taste at magic, it was Korik who gave us greater understanding. Korik is our god of knowledge. And he was created out of our deepening desire to learn about magic. And his knowledge was passed on. Every step we made, every advancement we had was thanks to him. But there were a sect of elves who wanted to know more. For you see, when Kisara and Cyrus were born, that is when elves lost their immortality. Originally, we were granted immortality. But only when life and death became constructs did we cease to be. Many of us came to terms with it fairly well, though some elves did not. They were angry at Demora for allowing this to happen. They were angry at Cyrus for taking us, and while Cyrus would gift his mother, her favorite creation, us, with longer lifespans, other creatures did not live nearly as long. I do not know the lifespan of Katsun like you, but an elf can live 1,000 years. Korik seemed like he would have a way to grant us that immortality again. However, those that wished to find it were punished, shunned, and in their anger, they fled into Cyrus's domain. One particular elf, Isas, watched in wonder and learned. He studied the power of Cyrus, and eventually grew to become the god of necromancy and unlife. And he raised the elves who had died in the underworld to serve him, to fight against Demoris, to destroy her forests, her children. It was a bloody war, but it ended with the elves that followed Isas being cursed. Their skin blackened like the corpses that they raised, their eyes red, their hair white. And it was the birth of the Dark Elves. Born in darkness, bred from evil. And that is what we're facing.
And now that evil comes upon us.
It does, after thousands of years of them being buried in the underworld, in the underrealm, where they were cursed by Molot to stay forever out of the eyes of the sun and the moon. They walk again.
He said he's looking for my tribe now.
That is unfortunate.
Is there anything in their magic that could allow them to find someone? Or something that is hidden?
There are powerful magics that allow you to spy on someone. Locating them is more difficult. I'm not capable of such magic. I am capable of limited magic. However, my skills remain more in the martial. If you could find a wizard, they might be able to tell you more. But there's nothing that I know comes naturally to them. Unlife, necromancy, being able to control and command the dead. That is the kind of magic we know to be in their wheelhouse. I don't think that they would possibly be able to use that to hunt down your tribe. That's at least my humble interpretation, at least. I know Philia knows more about magical objects. She might be able to tell you about items that could do it. However, we are heading into Mace. There is, in the Quill District, you may be able to find their more book-learned individuals there that might be able to give you a stronger idea of what they're capable of.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Looks like we now need to stop them.
Well, I've always felt we need to stop them. But it seems you now have a personal reason to.
So I'll walk away after that.
Alright, she will continue to scan the horizon.
I am upkeeping Rosita company. Are you doing alright?
Yeah, a couple of arrows won't stop me. It's not the worst wound I've ever gotten.
What was the worst wound you ever got?
Now that one's a little personal, but,
You don't have to answer it if you don't want to.
well, it was when I was a kid. A friend of mine, Nemoris, he and I were out on the lake, and I cut my leg pretty badly. If Nemoris hadn't have been there for me, gotten me home, I probably would have drowned.
I see. Well, I'm glad you're still around. I'm glad Nemoris was able to help you.
I am too. I miss him.
What happened to him?
Oh, you know how when people grow older it gets harder to see friends. It's more that I don't get to visit him as often as I'd like, rather than anything happened to him.
Ah, okay. So it's just a matter of your work and such keeping you from seeing him.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I didn't get to see my dad much before he passed because he decided to do the stupid thing and settle down. I don't know how anyone could keep their legs on dry land long enough to do that.
Well, I understand the dry land part. Not so much the settling down. There's so much in the world to explore and see. You know?
Yeah. I mean, I spent my entire life on this lake, so while it's big, and there's probably still parts of it I don't know anything about, you get the feel for it after a while. Though, the old lake turtle might be able to get through the inlets over by Mace and out into the open water, but I don't think I'd ever take her that far.
Where have you always wanted to take the lake turtle? Where have you always wanted to go?
I don't really know. I've seen maps, I've seen star charts, I've seen all sorts of places all over the world, and just one giant landmass surrounded by a lot of water. Though if I had to say, if there was any place I wanted to go, Terracera.
Terracera?
Terracera. I hear it's full of all sorts of terrible people. Criminals, scum, villainy, and a whole lot of fun.
That does sound interesting at the very least.
Actually, make a quick history check there.
Sure. I was gonna say, maybe I've heard, maybe I've... Nah, 8.
8. The name does ring a little familiar to you because it is in the Eltrun region, but you don't know much about it.
It's the kind of place that, my parents would have warned me to not go.
Yeah, it's the kind of place, like, only people who want to lose their lives would go to Terracera.
The kind of place that I could probably go to.
Actually, it's the kind of place Jelltur would probably really like.
Love, yeah. Well, maybe one day you'll be able to go there.
If I do, that'll probably be my last journey.
Really?
Why the fuck would I ever come back?
That's fair. Just the thought of, you say the lake turtle's your home. I can't really be the one talking about leaving home and never looking back, but...
Yeah, I don't think I could leave her behind, but there's a lot of people I've met. None of these people, she gestures to the below decks area, but a lot of people who could look at home and be perfectly happy never going back there.
Yeah, at least you get to bring yours with you for now, at least.
Everywhere I go. Everywhere she takes me.
You're really something special, you know that?
Says the fanciful devil who can summon bears with a fiddle.
Yeah? Yeah, I can.
I feel like this is going to end with the next morning, Piper comes out of the captain's quarters.
Yeah. And we fade to black.
Kreg is gonna sleep in the crow's nest, just because he's never really had much experience on a boat. Just because it's the highest point and he thinks it's cool, if there is one.
Let me tell you how bad an idea that is.
The sun rises the next morning. And, Scratch, you are coming from below deck. You're an earlier riser than most people. You come from below deck, and standing at the helm is either Grunt or Groan. You don't know which one. But he's just kind of standing there looking out at the water, one hand on the wheel, one hand just kind of leaning on the post. He kind of looks at you, gives you a nod. And, Kreg, I would like you to make me a dexterity saving throw, please.
That is fine. I'm assuming we got a long rest.
You guys get a long rest.
Okay, making sure. How does a 22 do ya?
You just hear, Scratch, you just hear, ah! You and Grunt just kind of look at each other like, what the? You look around a little bit, you look up, and hanging from the crow's nest by his ankle, which he luckily found a rope that hooked his ankle before he fell, Kreg is dangling from the crow's nest.
What do you do with a drunken sailor? What?
Grunt just kind of looks up at you,
I wave.
then looks right back at the horizon, just continues to sail. Scratch, you're the first one out, but eventually people file out.
I'm just dangling.
Some of the wood elves that work on the ship just kind of like look at Kreg, look at you, Scratch, for like, should we do something about this?
It'll be fine.
They shrug and go to work. As they just leave you up there. Gil comes out. He's no longer in the full armor. He's kind of wearing just his blacksmith clothes at this point. Philia joins him on deck later on.
I wave.
Gil like leans over and says something to Philia, and she kind of like laughs and hits him on the shoulder, but they just keep walking.
Are we almost there?
As you say, are we almost there? Rosita finally comes out from below deck, looking refreshed. And she calls back up. It's about 5-day journey, so no.
I'll come up as well.
Piper comes up looking refreshed.
How was your night?
It was wonderful, darling.
Cool.
I'm gonna come up with some fresh air and just see that and just be like, cool.
Hi, tiny human.
Good morning.
Morning. Why is I'm not gonna ask.
Love how he started and then chose not to continue.
Just not even. I'll be leaving him there. Because if we are, let me know now. I'll go back downstairs.
I was going to say we probably should get him down, but I mean, he sounds like he's having fun. Though I worry about losing feeling in that leg with the way that rope is.
My head is tingly.
I look at Scratch.
Now, just wait. This might not be a bad thing.
Yeah, so Rosita's just gonna be like, so Kat, how's your aim?
Good enough.
And she nods at you and jerks the wheel to one side, sending him flying out slightly.
I will throw a dart up at the rope.
Roll to hit.
Yep.
Whee!
19 to hit.
I'll accept it. It severs the rope, and as it severs the rope, it throws Kreg off the side of the boat. She turns it back.
Can I do a backflip?
Sure. Roll an acrobatics check.
Okay, that's not horrible. 17.
You did a glorious backflip, and we just hear sploosh. You hear a couple whistles as a few of the wood elves on board throw you a rope. The ship is not slowing down.
I grab the rope, obviously.
And they'll haul you up, dripping wet. And she'll just be Rosita will be sitting there behind the helm. She just looks over and goes, "That's one way to get him to take a bath."
He sniffs his armpit. Ah, much better.
Well, better.
Yeah, there was no soap involved.
It really was just like a rinse,
And
pretty
this is-
much.
Got the
this is
sweat and the
salt.
blood off of you.
Also, as soon as Kreg gets up onto the deck, he's kind of on all fours, kind of shakes off like a wet dog. He kind of stretches a little and goes, "All right, let's do this. What should we do?"
Relax. Enjoy the boat ride.
It is going to be about 5 days before you get to your destination, and that's with favorable winds and no problems.
Cool, so 5 days of not having to deal with it.
Cool. Hey, Brian, can I practice juggling with my accents?
No. As soon as you take them out, Rosita's like, "Not on my ship."
Okay.
I've spoken to Tilly. I know what you've done.
Yes.
I guess I will go check on Tilly and Jeff and Casey. Casey, right?
Yeah.
Jeff is still in the medic area, and Casey, finally they got her to go to sleep. They sent her to where the hammocks are, so she's asleep right now. But Tilly and Jeff are both in the medic area.
Okay. Is Tilly up or
Tilly is sitting in a chair watching over Jeff.
how's he doing?
He's doing all right. I mean, there was a lot that happened. He took quite a hit for us there. He got in between the beast and us. He's a brave boy. Brave man.
That he is.
Yeah. Well, can't rightly leave the side of my protector now, can I? Guess I owe him. Go stay by him.
I'm sure he'd like that.
And I think I owe my other protector something as well. You came in, you saved all three of us. She gets up and she gives you a hug. Then she just kind of
her back. It's like pat her back.
Then she just kind of leans back. She keeps one hand on your shoulder and goes, "First then, secret safe with me. Not to worry about that. Second thing,
Yeah.
when I get my tavern inn back, or I open a new one, you, sir, you always got a room.
That's really good to know. I appreciate that.
Well, couldn't have one again without you. So, figured it was only right.
I appreciate it, and thanks for keeping my secret in the offer.
Well, I would promise you that, so it wasn't really that far of a stretch to add it in there.
Fair enough.
But hopefully by the time we get to Mace, Jeff will be up and about. So,
I hope so. I'm assuming the medical supplies they have here has been of use, I think.
adequate. We've been looking around and
There's
there
two
wasn't
half orcs on
much,
here.
but
I'm not sure what else they have. I'm not really sure what else they have on this ship.
They have enough to take care of minor things that might happen at sea, but, well, at lake. Not exactly a seafaring vessel.
Very true. Definitely nowhere near as big as the ones. I had to stop there.
You seen bigger then, eh?
Yeah, you get around sometimes.
Your secret's safe with me, and I'm not gonna pry on your other ones.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
No problem. She goes back and sits back down next to Jeff.
Alright. Make sure if there's any food. I'm assuming there's food, right?
Yeah, there's food.
Alright.
People are getting fed. That was part of the deal with setting up the lake turtle to be able to go out, was
Gotcha.
supplies, rations, materials, places for people to sleep. It's not super comfortable, and you're not eating gourmet, but there's stuff there.
At least make sure you get something to eat, and I guess Jeff too, if he can eat.
When he wakes up, we'll definitely shovel some food down his gullet. But when Casey wakes up, she'll take care of me, don't worry.
Alright. And I'll leave the room at that point.
Alrighty, so yeah. So, a couple days will go by at this point.
I definitely spend some time with my little notebook, and I'm working on some...
Is that Rosita's nickname now?
I mean, I have other nicknames for her, and that is not it.
Yeah, you guys are noticing that every night you don't see Piper. She doesn't come sleep with the rest of you guys with the hammocks and whatnot.
I'm fine with this.
But Piper is working in her notebook.
I spend some time.
So, can Kreg try and follow her one night, just out of curiosity where she went?
Sure, go ahead and make a stealth check. Piper, what's your passive?
Let me see what my passive is. 11.
11.
Doesn't matter, it's a nat 1.
Piper, Kreg is following you.
Can I help you, darling?
So, Kreg leans against the wall and starts whistling.
Make a performance check. Piper, make an insight check.
Okay.
Oh, good. That's a 10.
13.
Yep, no, he's full of shit.
Yeah. You're following me, why?
He's like, abort, abort! Take a roll, and he kind of takes the lemur and just like tucks it in his chest as they roll down the hall.
I kind of watch him go before I go to the door, and I just knock.
You are let in. Now, Piper, something you have noticed is that regardless of the states of undress you and Rosita find yourselves in, there's one thing that you can never take off.
And that is?
That necklace. Anytime you put your hand on it to take it off, you don't. Your mind kind of clouds up for a moment and you forget it, or you go to pull it off and then just can't bring yourself to do it.
But I can't take it off.
Yeah, well, can't, in retrospect. Don't feel like it in the moment, or don't want to in the moment, but you're starting to put together night after night after night. You're not taking it off. You've never taken it off since putting it on.
That's weird. Why can't I? And why won't I? I know it helps me, but I'm just like, she's just kind of like playing with the pendant part, is just like, but why? Why won't I? Or because it's weird. It's a weird thing. I don't usually wear a lot of jewelry. This is different though. I also haven't heard anything from the voice in my head any time recently.
No, not since the current.
Yeah.
And Piper, just make a wisdom check for me.
19.
19? You heard that voice when you needed to understand something that was difficult for your intellect to wrap around.
And there hasn't been anything difficult as of recently.
Right, you've been passing. You've been doing well. You've been rolling well.
Are you the one talking to me? I'm just like looking at the pendant. Are you the one talking to me sometimes?
Are you talking to your necklace at this point?
Yeah, I figured this is after like Rosita's gone to sleep.
As you look at it, you see the gem in the center gleam a little bit in the moonlight, but other than that, you don't hear an answer.
Fine. Keep your secrets. And I'll lay down.
Oh, yeah, so I was going through what I have, Ryan. I have apparently 5 books of Dragon lore.
I mean, would you like to do anything with that?
I'm gonna start reading them. Why the fuck not? Not doing much else.
Can you read Draconic?
Oh, it's all in Draconic. Never mind.
Yep.
Is there anyone that I would know that probably might know Draconic?
You might speak to Philia.
Huh?
You haven't
Might
asked
speak
anyone
to
what they
Philia.
know.
Philia? Philia probably would be the best bet, right? But I don't know how late it is. I'm not sure if she's on.
She's probably in bed by now, but the next morning, again, time is kind of wibbly-wobbly at this point because it's only a few days, and you can say, like, oh, on this day, I go and approach Philia.
Yeah, I'm gonna, next chance I get, I'm gonna go try to approach Philia about these books.
Alright, so you approach her. She and Gil usually just walk around the deck of the ship, so you pretty much know where to find her.
Alright, well, I hate to cut into your alone time.
Oh, that is fine, darling.
I just have... Do either of you by chance know Draconic?
I speak a little, but that's mostly from what was put on blades. I speak Draconic quite well, actually. Would you like me to take a look at something?
Yeah, we came across these 5 books of Draconic lore. Draconic lore, dragon lore.
It seems that each of these books is in reference to a different chromatic dragon and their metallic counterpart. So, for instance, this is about red dragons and gold dragons.
This is very interesting, actually, considering the fact we met a gold dragon.
Yes, she flips through it quickly. It talks about some well-named ones, some some famous ones. There are references in here to...
Ogmar?
Pardon?
Does the name Ogmar show up in that book at all?
Hold on a moment. She flips through it for quite a while, looking through. Ogmar of the Sun comes up. He is a gold dragon who is a favored of Molat. It says here he is one of the only ancient golds in existence.
One of the only. Oh.
We do not know if there are more, but he is the only named ancient gold that we know of. One of the few gold dragons that would have existed at the beginning of creation. Probably one of the first, if not the first, gold dragon ever born.
Jelltur is very Thank you. It's very interesting.
Glad to help. You might be more interested in this one, though. She holds up the black... it's a black book. That one was kind of red leather, this is black leather. This one would actually tell you all about Garen. You went to the place of Garen's fangs.
About who?
Garen the Black.
Oh yeah, Garen the Black.
This
Wait, he's in that book?
Oh yes, he is much like... This one I actually know the story of because we lived under the Fangs. Garen the Black was very much like Ogmar of the Sun, where he is the most ancient of the Black Dragons.
Alright. And what was that dragon before? Marsoth? Does the name Marsoth appear anywhere in there?
Would it be in relation to Garen?
It was a black dragon, so maybe?
There aren't several black dragons in the world, but I can take a look and see.
Well, I'm looking for any connection to Black Dragon's name, because I can't remember names. To him, any dragon related to that guy.
It does not say anything about a Marsath, but it does say that there was a son, a powerful dragon, kin to Garen, who, when Garen's fangs were attacked by an army of dwarves sent to slay the beast, escaped, named Garendal.
Garendal?
Yes, Garendal. He's said to be the only male heir that Garen ever sired.
Right, and about how old would he be now if he was alive?
Oh, this was hundreds of years ago.
So probably like along the lines of ancient-ish? Maybe adultish?
They don't really gain ancient status unless they're around for a couple thousand years.
Cool, so he's just an adult. Then that's cool.
Yes, a metagamer would determine that this is an adult dragon, yes.
No, I am assuming based on how it said he's the only heir of Garenfang, and since he died a while ago, I'm just like, if he's still alive...
Well, the stories conflict about Garen's death. Some say that the dwarves overwhelmed him and slaughtered him. Some say they drove him off and he still lives somewhere.
But he had a son still.
He still had a son that we know escaped. Every tale says that he escaped.
His son is still alive by now. He's at least being a young dragon? An adult? What are those numbers?
He would definitely be old enough to have a clutch of his own. I mean, if anything, he might someday return to the mountain, sire his own son, and have a child.
So that concern picture.
So, perhaps one day we will find the son of Garendal, born within the mountain.
Just, what are the chances of that happening? Yeah, but what are the chances that he had a son?
Well, I mean, you didn't run into a dragon or anything in there.
How many female black dragons are there?
Very few. Very few, so... I mean... Most dragons will return to the place of their own siring to sire their young. So, since there's no dragon in Garen's Fangs anymore, there should not be any dragon problem. Garendel probably does not have a son yet.
Yeah, hypothetically, what if there was a dragon there? What if there was a young dragon there?
It would most likely be the child of Garendel, yes.
Legitimately, Jelltur is just quiet. It's like, huh.
Oh god, the lore drop I've been sitting on for months.
It's like, just the immediate, huh. Huh.
Pappy and Grandpappy ain't happy with you!
As Kreg walks by and just like, Jelltur the Dragon Slayer, and
Philia and Gil just watch him walk by.
Ignore him, he's dumb.
Piper walks by singing the Jelltur the Dragon Slayer.
Ignore her, she's also dumb.
The whole crew just starts getting into a musical number.
Could you not put a bounty on my guy's head by a fucking dragon?
Oh, see, this is the fun part. The skies go dark.
Wait, what? Stop playing.
And you guys feel as if,
oh fuck.
You guys feel like a cloud or something has passed over. But when you look up, its shape is not like a cloud. You see a large pair of wings
God
and a
damn it.
whipping tail diving down towards the boat, blotting out the sun. It flares back and you see a dragon. Black scales, just oily black scales. Curled horns, 4 of them. Its maw dripping acid that hisses as it touches the water. Each wing flap, as it's in front of the ship, is pushing you back slightly against your course, so you're just kind of stuck in place as he hovers and howls. I smell those who slaughtered my son. Give them to me.
I put on my shield.
I wonder who did that.
Close notebook, put it away, cause there has to be a way to talk ourselves out of this.
So, roll initiative. There has to be a way to talk our way out of this. Roll initiative. God damn it!
Oh,
Where's that ballista? Where's that ballista?
right there.
So that's why Bryan overpowered it.
Yeah, that's why we have a ballista.
Basically, it's like all the HP before the big boss battle and everything in video games. You're just like, oh god, I'm getting like 10 healing potions. We're gonna die in the next 10 seconds.
Why is this room so large? Why are all these supplies here? Why did the game just auto-save? Fuck.
Why the game just auto-save? I fucking love that shit, because Dark Souls fucks you with that one.
I got to 19.
23.
16.
12.
Alright, so Jelltur, you are up first, my good sir.
I'm assuming you're Garendal. Now would you believe if I said you had the wrong ship?
You die first!
Figured as much. I'm gonna go run to the ballista.
You run to, Gil is over there, he's like pulling the canvas off, like, yeah.
I run to the ballista, like, help.
So you hopping in there?
Yes, I'm hopping into ballista. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
So Gil just lines you up. You want to take your shot?
So I'm going to get on it and be like,
You're gonna take your shot?
yeah? Yeah?
Roll to hit the dragon.
Now, is it my plus, or is it like, does it have my plus, or is it adding something else?
It's your plus, because you're aiming.
And then it's a 20 modified.
So you hit it. It's 4d10.
28 total.
28 total. Alright. Sorry. Jelltur lines up the ballista, boom, and it just slams into Garendal's side, and you see like scales scatter off, but the harpoon itself flies off into the water beyond. It's not a penetrating hit, but it seemed to hurt it.
I'm just looking at it like, I look at Gil, that didn't kill it. I think we're boned.
So, Piper, you are up.
So, how far away is he?
He is probably hovering about 40 feet in the air over you.
Okay, I'm going to grab my viol, and I'm going to start very, like, Flight of the Bumblebee frantically playing and cast Insect Plague right, like, on his, like, the radius starts, like, around his head.
Alrighty, so what do I have to do?
You have to make a Constitution saving throw.
Alright.
What is my spellcasting modifier? I don't fucking know.
So that is a 26.
Yeah. But he takes off as much damage, so he still takes damage. Not much, but 21 half to 10. But you know, they're going to stay on him because they can. And I'm going to move so I'm not, like, grouped with everybody else, and,
Just take a step to the side, like, nope.
Group with everyone else. Meanwhile, we're on a ship. That's
no, I
not
said,
very big.
well, move at least so I'm not, like, right next to somebody. I guess I'll give inspiration to Rosita in case she needs to make, avoid it like you would avoid somebody on a bad date. But that's my turn.
Alrighty, so that was Piper's turn. Kreg, you're up!
I put the shield on as soon as that motherfucker was coming down, and,
It's just a black dragon. You've killed a black dragon before.
Yeah, not one that was roughly 3 times the size.
Yeah, it's more of the simple fact that this one's bigger that kind of is off-putting. He's gonna find his courage and realizing we took down before. We got Jelltur the Dragon Slayer. So, he's gonna rage, take his javelin, and chuck it at it.
Go for it. Roll to hit.
Alright, so that's going to be 21.
21 will hit.
Cool. And that's 8 points
8 points of damage.
on the first attack.
Right?
Kreg is so beside himself right now, he's not even naming his spears. That is a miss, because that's 11.
That just whiffs past the tail. You're like not even close. Scratch. You remembered, the tales of those dragons when you were fighting Marasaf. You're like, this thing's only the size of a horse. We got this. This thing's the size of the ship you're on. Now those stories you were told about dragons suddenly make sense.
Now I get it. So I am going to cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Alrighty.
I just look down at the dart in my hand, and I look up at it.
I mean, you've blinded a dragon and you've blinded a drow.
Huh. Well, shit. I throw the dart.
Roll to hit. I'm guessing you also run forward so you're in range, because those things don't have a great range.
23 to hit.
You hit the dragon.
I get 1d4
plus your dex
plus
mod.
1d6 of damage.
Yep, plus your d6 because of Hunter's Mark.
11 points of damage.
11 points of damage to the Durgan from a dart. As you flick this dart up, and it hits it in the eye and just roars in agony. And you're sitting there going, how do I keep doing that?
Damn it.
You aim for the most vulnerable point.
I need to talk to Kat.
So is that all you do on your turn?
Oh, but I can make 2 attacks on my turn.
You can. Would you like to throw another dart at disadvantage?
Yes, I guess. No. Okay, so I got a natural 1
Re-roll the 1, please.
and an 11.
Yep, so the dart goes flying off. It flicks it away with its tail. It just kind of knocks it off to the side into the water. Then you scurry out of the way as it dives down. And it doesn't land on the ship. It just kind of grabs it with its front claws and just roars. And I would like everyone to make me a wisdom saving throw.
So, me and wisdom?
Yeah, me neither. 4.
I do. 20.
Surprisingly enough, not bad. 16.
That is just enough.
Yeah, no, I fail. So he pisses himself.
Yep. Kreg fails and Piper fails.
I
Also,
just
a
end up
lot of-
adding a lot more like vibrato and tremolo to it because I'm just shaking.
I'm just like, it's not that I'm not scared. I am very much so scared.
So he just roars, and Kreg is pissing himself, Piper's pissing herself. Each creature of the dragon's choice, creature can repeat the saving throw at the end of the turn. You are frightened of the dragon for the next minute, which means you cannot move closer to it, and I believe your attacks against it have disadvantage.
Yep.
And then, the lovely thing about the dragon can make, the dragon can use its frightful presence and then make 3 attacks. 1 with its bite and 2 with its claws. So, first claw goes for Piper for the damn bugs.
I don't blame him.
Right, so the claw has a 14 to hit you.
Miss.
So you, like, drop to your knees as the claw swipes over your head. The second claw is going to go for Scratch. And that is an 18 to hit you, Scratch.
17 armor class, body hardening. 2.
You get just enough, so your arms go up, you tighten your body, the claw hits you, and you feel it knock you back, but it doesn't cut through your skin. You manage to, like, brace the hold against it. And now the jaws are going to snap at Kreg.
Alright.
As a 17 to hit you, Kreg.
Miss.
All 3 die I rolled, under 10. I am very disappointed in this dragon. So Rosita walks up. She's like, kind of strolls up on the dragon. She's watching you guys fight it off. 2 of you, like, pissing yourselves. She walks up on the dragon, and she holds up the compass. And she goes, "Hey there, big fella. Do you know what this is?" And he just kind of turns his attention to her. She goes, "This is my lake. You don't fuck with me on my lake." And she claps the compass closed. And I would like everyone to please make a perception check. Piper and Kreg, you're at disadvantage.
I'm not great at that. 13 on my part.
13.
17.
3. The other was a crit.
Piper does not see it. But everyone else, 17, you're like, you're looking over the side. The water around the ship is boiling. It's like bubbles just churning under the ship. And you all notice it getting fairly warm all of a sudden. Not like acid burning, just like the air temperature is rising. You realize steam is coming off of the water. And all of a sudden, the water at the prow of the ship bursts as this giant snap-jawed turtle head clamps down on Garandel's tail and wrenches the dragon under the water, just pulling him down. And the entire ship tips because he was holding on to the front of the ship, but his claws slip off as he is pulled underwater, and the water just begins to churn as it's boiling and tipping the ship, knocking it around. You have to grab onto things to keep it from being thrown overboard into the boiling water. And a few moments later, Garandel bursts from the water, probably about 100, 200 feet away from the boat, flying off. "I will return for you. You have slayed my child. You are mine." And he flies off.
It wasn't personal, I swear.
And slowly, the ship begins to stop rocking, and the shell appears first, farther off, but as it looks like a little island in the distance, that just keeps getting bigger and closer and bigger and closer until this massive shell is sticking out of the water by the lake turtle. And the head of a dragon turtle rises up and becomes eye level with all of you. And Rosita walks over to it, leans on the deck and goes, "Hi, Nemoris, how are you?" You hear this guttural roar. "No, I appreciate the save, though. Someone got a little testy. We should be able to make it the rest of the way fine, thank you."
That's Nemoris.
"Oh, yes, my dad found him, well, my granddad found his egg. Around the time my dad was born, the egg hatched. They kept him in a bathtub for a few weeks, but he got too big. So they released him into the water and would keep going down to the water, feeding him, taking care of him, talking to him. And so Nemoris just became an old family friend."
Hi. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for your help.
You just hear this.
Kreg has the javelin in his hand.
No, Kreg. No.
He's just waving. He's not actually attacking. He's like, waves, put the javelin away, and continues to wave with his hand.
Yeah, so Rosita actually turns around and leans back against the railing of the ship. And she said, "And now you know why I always felt safe on this lake."
Yeah.
So I'm gonna look at Gil. So did you know about this or?
Not a fucking clue.
Cool. That captain's fucking scary.
Yeah. Keep your sticky fingers in your pocket around here.
She is fucking amazing, is what she is.
Yeah, amazing is not the word I'd use there.
No, that is exactly the word to use.
Kreg links up a little next to her and goes, "Does he like to make friends?"
I mean, he's friends with me. And maybe one day, if I have children, he'll be friends with them too.
Kreg kind of slinks over to the edge, still a little nervous, looking up because this thing's like, he's used to big people, but this thing's like...
Yeah, this thing's head is about the size of the ship you're on.
Yeah, and Kreg just looks up going, "Hi, I'm Kreg." Just nervously like trying to feel this out and going, "Hi?" And he's kind of just at the edge waving.
And he begins to slip below the water. And as he does that, you actually feel the waves from his movement. Just as this slight now sinking, not even like forcefully swimming, rocking the ship a little back and forth.
As he slinks under, Kreg goes, "Woo! What a rush!"
So he's the one who saved you when you were little.
Yes, I got on his back and he swam me to safety.
And your compass is what called him?
Well, it keeps track of him. She pulls it out and you see it pointing the direction Nemoris went. So I always know roundabout where he is. And whenever I'm on the lake, he tends to keep close.
Can I take out the one that we picked up?
Sure.
Kind of look at it, look at where Garandal went. Is it pointing towards where he went?
It is not. It is actually pointing in the same direction as Nemoris, and she actually looks over and goes, "Where'd you find that? I gave it to Bezit." Oh.
Oh, right. I forgot that you picked it up from Bezit. From his bag, yeah. I forgot.
Yeah, I gave that to him as a way in case he ever got lost. I told him it always pointed towards the lake.
To point him back home.
Yeah.
Do you want it back? I hold it out to her.
You know what? You can hold on to it. That one was my dad's. You hold on to it in case you guys need to find Nemoris. If you're ever back on the lake. Or need to find the lake.
I will treasure that, and I will keep it safe.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go back to Philia and get the books. So yeah, we might have killed his son.
It seems to me that these books are going to be quite useful to you. maybe make a note in the book that there was a grandchild of Garen, and many would say it's a good thing that his grandchild was killed before he reached adulthood. Though if only we have gotten Garandal before that.
Fuck.
But hey, 1/3 of the worst possible black dragons in the world being dead is a good thing.
Yeah. Except another third is looking for us.
Well, 2/3 technically, if the grandfather still lives.
Can we just not talk about that one? I like the concept that he's not alive. I actually like that idea better.
We're so fucked.
I'd much rather not have to deal with an ancient black dragon. Thanks for the help, Ilya. I appreciate it.
You're quite welcome.
I go to Gil. Thanks for the help, Gil. That ballista's really cool.
I am also quite the fan of it, yes. Should start building more of them.
Yes. And I said, how much of a down payment I need to give you for a smaller version of this thing? Because I think that guy is not going to stop looking for us.
Well, there's a lot of R&D required on that. I mean, 10 gold and then whatever remains on the prototype.
I give him 10 gold.
Thank you, sir. I'll get to work on it as soon as I have a place to work on it.
Yeah. I just hope he doesn't come back before you finish it.
I just hope he doesn't come back.
Considering he can smell us, we'll try not to be close by when he comes back. I could do you that much at least.
Alright, so that was the end of your lake adventure. For the next couple days pass by uneventfully, and as the sun sets on the 5th day, you see before you the shoreline of the northern coast of Lake Gilpad, and a massive wall surrounds a city on a hilltop. You see a large castle surrounded by fairly nice buildings underneath it, and then this large wall that rings the city, wrapping it all in a great deal of protection. There are ships docked along a port that you are pulling into as well, and the calls and voices of hundreds of people ring through the air even as the sun begins to set. Horses are drawing carts, people are everywhere, and people of multiple races are everywhere. And you have entered into your first viewing of Mace, the city on the lake.
This has been the Reliably Chaotic podcast. Champions of Solane is an original Dungeons & Dragons adventure written by Bryan Scharf using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition rule set published by Wizards of the Coast. My name is Bryan Scharf, and I've been your DM. You can reach me at ReliableDM on Twitter.
My name is Nicole Summers, and I play Piper.
This is Jair, also known as JJ, and I play the character of Jelltur.
This is Matthew Reed, and I play Scratch.
This is Andrew Brown, and I play Kreg.
Theme music by Adrian von Ziegler. All other music by Kevin MacLeod on the Incompetech website and Adrian von Ziegler. Detailed information about music in this episode is provided in its description. Music for this episode was selected by Nicole Summers. The episode was edited by Matthew Reed with assistance from Sarah. Contact us out on Twitter at Reliably Chaotic, email us at reliablychaotic@gmail.com, or join our Discord server by following the link in our description. If you like our show and would like to support us, please consider becoming a patron by going to patreon.com/reliablychaotic or by leaving a 5-star rating and review on iTunes. It really does help a lot. Thank you for listening, and we hope to see you again in our next adventure.